Chapter 7. Plain and simple, it was a full-blown invasion. As she peered through her apartment door's peeping hole, Eva groggy mind was still filled with lovely carnal images of faceless men with scruffy beards and toned muscle when it was brutally jolted to reality with a distorted but still too cocky smirk of Aiden Walker. Instinctively, she pulled back from her apartment door and looked down at her sleek tee and shorts, assessing the state of her morning disheavement. Just perfect. Would this man always catch her off guard? Just a minute. I'm not ready for you all yet, she yelled through the door. There is no you all, he countered through the door. It's only me. The rest of the crew will be up shortly. I came ahead and I have coffee. The magic of the C word pulled Eva up short. She angled back toward the door, her lips twisted as her suspicions went on full alert. How did he know how she liked her coffee? And why did he care? Eva leaned in close to the door. You aren't armed with a camera now, are you? I swear, if I open this door and you shove a camera in my face, you will live to regret it. She leaned forward a bit more and looked back through the peephole again, only to be confronted by another cocky smirk and the bearing of perfect white teeth. No, Scout's honors, just the coffee. Now don't you think it's a little early to be shouting through a door? Want to open up and let me in? Or do you want to wait until all your neighbors are awake? Eva let out a sigh. Why did he always use logic on her and make it seem like she was being the irrational one? Besides, she should have thought of her neighbors. Though they had filming permission, and at this hour, especially on a Saturday, no one was up except the early exercise fanatic, and she didn't have many of them on her floor besides the jogger in 12D. No need to get everyone mad at her on top of pitying her. Reluctantly, Eva went for the deadbolt and gave it a turn, opening the door. As if they ever let the likes of you be a scout, she snorted. Isn't there some sort of code of honor? I'm serious. If you got some sort of hidden pin camera somewhere, I'll make our last encounter seem like foreplay. Aiden stepped into the small foyer area, then looked down at her and slowly spread his arms wide, taking up all the space, his large span brushing both sides of the narrow entryway. You want to frisk me, princess? Eva stared, wide eyes at first, shocked at how appealing his challenge, though made it jest, sounded at the moment. She gave him a quick appraisal, eyes swooping from top to bottom in a span of 1.5 seconds. His jeans was well worn so they hugged his muscular thighs in all the right places. His tee, a gray jersey Henley that skimmed his toned chest and insinuated the fact that the man treated his body right, had two buttons open at the top, showing a hint of dark hair that matched the scuff on his chin he wore so well. His full lips, upturned at one corner, reminded her of the recklessness and so out of character moments that she had had with him in a not so green room. What was she thinking kissing the man? The knee, sure, that was awful. And yes, she shouldn't have done it, but the kiss? That was beyond out of bounds. Not that she would take it back. Looking at him now, she could still feel every moment, from when he went from shock to pliant, and from there to deliciously dominating. And if she were halfway honest with herself, that's when things got really interesting. Too bad it was also when she had come to her senses and backed off. Eva felt the hairs on the back of her neck go up, and she blinked. She was getting into dangerous mind territory. Better to stop this before it went any further. She swept her gaze up from his most gazeable lips and back to his dark chocolate eyes. Eva was taken aback by the underlying smolder there. She reached up and snatched the coffee from his outstretched hands. Can you put your arms down? You look ridiculous. Sure, princess. I was giving you time to finish your, assessment. Oh, trust me, my assessment is done, and you can drop the prince. Her words were cut off by midstream as his free arm slipped around her waist, and before she could get her protest out, his lips, Those same lips that she had stared at for just a little too long moments ago were now on hers again. But this time, there was no shock, at least not on his part. And in spite of herself, she leaned in towards him and gave just as she got. Her body folded towards his, head tilting, lips molding easily, maybe a little too naturally, conforming to his plump fullness. Instantly, shockingly, surprisingly, she was aroused. Her whole body now as warm as the cup of coffee she was having trouble balancing in her hands. She let out a soft moan as his tongue gently swept over the creases of her lips, and they parted in silent response. But just that quickly, he pulled back, holding her by an elbow with one hand as he softly retrieved the takeout coffee cup with the other. Hey there, watch it. You don't want to spill this on your nice rug, do you? Her lashes fluttered, or maybe she blinked. Fluttering seemed such a silly thing to do, and something she had neither the time nor the patience for. Either way, she opened her eyes and looked up, the world slowly coming back into focus. Walker smiled smugly down at her. Once again, he caught her off balance and at her worst. The bastard, she swallowed. What the hell was that all about? She asked, hoping her voice held the appropriate appalled tone. He grinned wide. That was me, even in the score. And after our meeting with the crew, and then in my office, I got to thinking, you need to get your mind in the game. I figure we're good now. You kiss me, I kissed you. No biggie. Though I'm going to give you a pass on the ball kicks because, one, it would lead to rightful assault charges, and two, I don't hurt women. It's not my thing. Also, three, I probably deserve something close to that for filming you without your knowledge. That will never happen again. So with this kiss, I figure now we're square. You can stop giving me the wondering looks about where we stand after our first encounter. We stand where we stand. You snuck me one. Now I've gotten you back. We're both on the up and up. Now can we get to work? Cool? He let her hand go and pressed the coffee cup firmly into it. It took all she had to stay steady, but Eva refused to give him the satisfaction of swaying. Perfect. He stood to his full height and looked down at her, his gaze more assessing than anything else. Now that that's out the way, I suggest you drink up, throw on some casual Saturday single girl out of town clothes, because in about 15 minutes it's going to get pretty crowded in here. All Eva could do was watch as he sailed right on by her, as if he hadn't just knocked her non-existent socks off. In a few quick strides from the foyer, he was clear across her living room, and a few steps after that, he made short work of her open concept kitchen of her small apartment. One turn to the right, and he would be at her bedroom door. Eva put her coffee cup on the kitchen island and ran a step in front of him. That space is off limits. He raised a brow. I hate to tell you, princess, but you signed an agreement that says otherwise. She felt her face begin to heat. She knew what she had signed, but still, she didn't want all of America seeing her private spaces, as she knew her unmentionables didn't quite make it to the closed hampers most days. Or was it the fact that he would know? Embarrassingly, it was the latter that caused her the most unease. She crossed her arms and pulled herself up to her full height, raising her chin. I know what I signed, and my private spaces are off limits. Without mutual agreement, of course, and right now, I'm not mutually agreeing. Her words sounded hollow even to her own ears, but she hoped she could fudge it. I won't be embarrassed. You know as well as I do that the network can't afford any bad publicity out of this deal. The bedroom is out, at least until I straighten it up. He looked down at her for a long moment, his eyes completely unreadable. Eva stared back, unblinking, trying her best to give as good as she got, when really she couldn't believe how he could be so cool after the kiss they just shared. The man was some sort of machine. Either that, or she had no effect on him at all. She frowned. It was probably the latter, which really was for the best, no matter the blow to her ego. The buzzer rang, causing her to jump at the sharp sound breaking the silence. Looks like your time is up, Walker said with a raised brow. I'll give in for now. You go and get dressed. Clear out whatever it is. Aiden paused. Wait, it is a it and not a who. Yes, I don't want to assume. Eva crossed her arms. Don't be an ass, Mr. Walker. Fine, sorry, just making sure. And please call me Aiden. Well then, don't be an ass, Aiden. He grinned. That's better, princess. And a word of advice. This will be a long 8 weeks if you take everything so seriously. If I were you, I'd lighten up a bit and thaw the ice rod you've gotten for a spine. With it as frozen as it is liable to break at the lightest tap. Eva fumed as thoughts of Kevin and accusations of him calling her frigid came to mind. I'll have you know I'm no princess and I'm far from frigid. Once again, he laughed. This time he looked down at her lips in such a way that her nipples hardened way too much for her to be comfortable in her t-shirt. Still, she wouldn't give him the satisfaction of fidgeting. His eyes met hers again. No, princess. I'm starting to believe I can take your word on that. The buzzer rang again, leaving Eva no time to contemplate the meaning of his last comment. Okay, Prin. She raised a brow. I'm sorry, Miss Ward. He gave her a quick once-over. As lovely as you are in your morning attire, how about you go get dressed? He took a step back and grabbed the cup of coffee, handing it back to her. Sip some of this while you're at it. I'll handle the crew for now. Eva took a sip of the perfect cup of coffee and gave him a wide-eyed look. He grinned. You're not the only one who does research. Okay, chapter 7. All right, that was nice and short. That's what I'm talking about. Nice, short, to the point. Could we keep that going for the rest of the chapters, please? Okay. So we all know they're attracted to each other, right? Okay. I ain't gonna give it away. No, my prediction is, of course, it's obvious. They're gonna be together. Yeah, that's all I got. So I'm gonna just see you in chapter 8. Bye.